Hey, what's up, y'all? Happy Friday, and we have made it to another weekend and another On the Needle review. So, today I am talking about Brandy. So, when you think about Brandy and her longevity of her career, it's really pretty amazing because she's coming up on about, I think it's like 30 years. 1994 is when she first came out, 94, 95, somewhere around there. Um, and she's still pretty relevant. She's still making music, still putting music out. And so, for a lot of artists, by the time they put out a greatest hits, the career is kind of pretty much over at that point, or at least the height of it. There really aren't any other accolades. They've pretty much, peaked from a sales perspective and all that. And although Brandy has, since she released her best of album that I'm reviewing today, she has put out other songs since then, maybe that aren't as big of hits that were from her first part of her career rather. She's had some good music, definitely. I don't think anybody could deny that. Me personally, I'm more of a fan of Brandy's music. I love the singles from the first album. I can't say I've listened to that album all the way through. Same with the second album, which a lot of people love the Never Say Never album. I think there were about 6, 7 songs that I really, really liked. But as an album, I can't say it was just a no skip. But when she came out with Full Moon, I was like, oh, okay. Like, I don't know, the vocals were just better. Her backgrounds, the layering, I mean, just all of it was. I mean, that is one of the best R&B albums, hands down, to me. Yeah, it just is. So, when I saw that this album came out, I've had this for over a year now, but when I saw that she released this best of, I thought, okay, wow, this is a great thing to have on vinyl because it's a greatest hits. And like I said, as far as a no skip, I wouldn't really count her first two albums as that. Separate album wise that I would get from Brandy. And maybe I would get her first album just for the nostalgia piece of it. But I would definitely get Full Moon on vinyl. I loved the 211 album. I would get that one on vinyl. And the Aphrodisiac album. I would say probably those three are the ones that I would actually get on vinyl. But anyway, this is the track listing here. So some of these songs weren't huge hits, but they were, arguably pretty popular. You have, of course, I Want to Be Down, Broken Hearted, Best Friend. Those are big songs. Angel in Disguise, although that song wasn't a single, I can understand why it was featured on here because I remember when the Never Say Never album came out, that was a fan favorite. A lot of people talked about that song. Joe, I think he wrote and produced the song, if I'm not mistaken. So that was cool. You can even kind of hear him in the background vocals there. Of course, you can't have a Brandy Greatest Hits without The Boy's Mind. Almost doesn't count. That song was a little too sappy to me, but it was a hit, of course. So that's got to be on here. Top of the World with Mace. So if you pay attention to my Monday is Given videos, I also review Burna Boy's new song Sitting on Top of the World, which samples Brandy's Sitting on Top of the World. So just a testament to her longevity and her star power, where people are starting to sample her songs now. You Don't Know Me Like You Used To. Now that was on the Never Say Never album. This version is the one with Shanta and DeBrat. I don't really think that was a big song, but I guess maybe it was one of those fan favorites. Have You Ever was a huge song, so I get why it was on here. Full Moon, of course. Love that song. One of her best songs in my opinion. What About Us? Love that one too. Who Is She to You? Talk About Our Love. Let me tell you, because this is a 2-album set. So side C, or side C of the second album, this is really just let it play. I loved Talk About Our Love, the one with Kanye West. I wish they honestly had done more songs together because I feel like his production really complements when she sings in her lower register. Um, yeah, to me, it's just really, really dope. Of course, Sitting Up in My Room, another one of her huge songs. She did a Rock With You remake with Heavy D. I kind of like that song. It's okay. I don't recall that being a huge hit, but you know, Another Day in Paradise with Ray J, that could have been scrapped in my opinion. And then the I Want to Be Down remix. That was, yeah, yeah, that was a good one. Now I feel like this Another Day in Paradise could have probably been scrapped with another one of the tracks from Aphrodisiac. I feel maybe the song Sadiddy. I feel like that was kind of a fan favorite, even though it wasn't a single, but a lot of people knew that song. And yeah, it could have scrapped the one with Ray J. But that could just be because I'm not a Ray J fan. But that's just me. So when you open it, you know, there's the photo of her. You have the writing credits, production credits. So one thing that's interesting about Brandy is she really didn't start getting into songwriting until, or heavily, I should say, until, you know, kind of like maybe the second album that she did write Boy's Mind though, so she was smart on that. Them publishing checks are nice, I'm sure. So, but you know, some of her other big hits like Almost Doesn't Count, Have You Ever, she did not write those songs. Even the one Who Is She to You, Timbaland and then some other people wrote that song, so she didn't write that one. Not Talk About Our Love. Of course, Babyface wrote Sitting Up in My Room. That was from the Waiting to Exhale soundtrack. Yeah, and just a lot. She's just not really been credited, I don't think, until later in her career as a songwriter. It was more so just her as an artist, but not so much for her songwriting ability. So this album is a colored vinyl, which is pretty cool. It's kind of like an orangey brown, or maybe not orangey, but you get the point. It's not black. So this is how the album looks. And yeah, this is it. This is the greatest hits, best of Brandy. Now what's interesting is Monica has had a career that's just as long as Brandy, and she does not have a greatest hits out yet. So it'd be interesting to see what songs she would include on the greatest hits. You know, me personally, I think, you know, all of those singles from the first album, like, you know, Don't Take It Personal, Why I Love You So Much, Before You Walk Out of My Life, even the song Like This and Like That, that was a single. It wasn't a huge single, but compared to the other three, but it was still, you know, decent single. Of course, you gotta put The Boy's Mind on there. Angel of Mine. Every time the beat dropped, I could maybe see that being on there. It was a different feel for Monica. I think it was something that people really didn't expect from her until they kind of started to really know her street side, or Gunica, as people call her. This may be an unpopular opinion, but this is just my opinion. I feel that although Brandy, I feel like her voice has more of a range, and it's matured over time too, because I feel like, again, pre-full moon Brandy is not the same as post full moon Brandy. But I will say, album for album, if I have to judge no skipability, if that's a word or a phrase, I probably would have to give it to Monica, to be honest. Her first album, I think, is pretty much a no skip. The one with The Boy's Mind was kind of a no skip. She had a couple songs in there maybe I didn't like, but it jammed to me pretty much the whole way through. Now, the one Monica album that I really thought was great that did not get nearly as much publicity as I thought it should have was The Makings of Me. That album, I mean, top to bottom, you just play, I mean, she had the songs with Missy. She had like Swiss Beats, I think, produced a couple songs on there. And I just love Monica and Missy together. I think they have a great chemistry, kind of similar to Brandy and Kanye. Also, the After the Storm album that she did, that was the one that had like So Gone and You Should Have Known Better and Set It Off and Knock Knock. So when you're talking albums, I would say Monica has better albums to me. I don't think she's necessarily a better artist. I think they're both great in their own right. But y'all weigh in. Let me know if you have this album or the CD or you've heard this greatest hits. Let me know what some of your favorite songs are. What are some of the ones that you maybe would have swapped out or just taken out altogether? Curious to know that too. So anyway, thanks for watching as always, and make sure to like and comment and subscribe. Also, check out my sister channel, the Water Bear Podcast. We are coming up on the season finale of season 2, Thursday of next week. So make sure you tune in to that as well. We're having a Sagittarius on this episode who is a life coach. So it's going to be really, really, really interesting show. So you don't want to miss it. So thanks everyone for tuning in, and till next time, peace.